We are calling this meeting to order, and we will go around and announce who is here. I am Patrick Delaney, I am chair.
Ryan Hartman, Human Resources Manager.
Dennis Pollack, member of the committee.
Kevin Fangman, Water and Lighting.
Dean Benneman, Council President.
Okay, item 2 is HR update. Mr. Hartman.
Okay, thank you.
Justin's here too, just so you know.
Oh yeah, Justin Lewis. Hey Justin, how are you?
TV.
Good.
Good. All right, HR update. Some good news here. For the first time in a long, long time, we have no permanent full-time positions that need to be filled at the moment. The second shift mechanic, which we've been looking for months, will be starting on August 5th. That position has been offered and accepted. So that's second shift over at the city garage. So that will get us back to 2 during the day, 2 at night. So excellent there. Still looking for the, like I said, all other permanent full-time positions are full, which has not happened in a long, long time. So that's good news from the recruiting standpoint. Still looking for football referees and still interviewing some lifeguards over at the aquatics facility, just due to schedule changes, and then the football referees starting their season coming up. Finalizing summer help for the wastewater treatment plant. They'll be coming up during their catch basin construction season, cleaning the catch basin, so they bring on a summer employee for these next 6 weeks. That'll be coming in the next week or so. With that individual starting, and the street department is finalizing filling their chip sealing crew because they are now moving into chip sealing season, where they'll be going down and doing the road top repairs. So that'll be coming up, and they'll run that through the end of August. So that'll start in the next couple weeks, maybe potentially as early as the end of next week they might get on chip seal. So that's the HR update for there as far as recruiting goes. But like I said, good news, getting that second shift mechanic in the garage is going to be big. So.
Mr. Chair, just a quick question. I know
Yeah.
I've asked this question before.
Yes,
But
sir.
what type of experience do you look for getting referees? You said like for football, and I mean, obviously they gotta know something, but.
Correct. Yeah, they got to have some knowledge of the game, but they do not have to be WIAA certified.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
So if
but-
you know of individuals out there who, if it's a high school kid, matter of fact, we've talked to a couple of high school coaches recently that they think they have a couple of their players that might be interested in refereeing, because those kids, being high school students, but they're
Well,
athletic
yeah, they
enough to
know
run up and
everything,
down the
yeah.
field, and they
Sure.
know what the current rules of the game are. So and it's flag football, so it's not tackle or anything, but yeah. So as long as they have some football
Okay, no, I was just
background,
curious. I was just.
they don't have to have WIAA
Yeah,
certification.
no, I didn't
so.
think so.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions or comments? Anything, Justin? No, moving
No
on.
comments for me, nope.
Moving on to item 3, discuss and consider for approval making permanent the current trial period of City Hall hours of Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Friday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. through December 31st, 2025. This will replace the current trial period that was set to expire September 19th, 2024. Mr. Hart.
Thank you. So I just wanted to try to get in front of this. This is the meeting minutes from September of 2023, where we approved, the HR committee approved making this policy good for the City Hall hours through September 19th of 2024. I know we are essentially 2 months ahead of it, but with that coming up, if there was to be discussion, I didn't want to be there the month of, or even next month, and be like, if there's going to be changes or any discussion. So I just wanted to put something out there and get us talking about it to try and stay ahead of it, so it doesn't sneak up on us.
Does anybody have any questions or comments?
The wording confuses me a little bit. So we're making permanent the current trial period.
Yep, because so we'd be making it we can erase the permanent, when the motion, if the motion were to be made. If we wanted to run it through 12/31/2025, I know last year the motion was just to make it permanent, the current trial period. And then
Last year, the motion was what?
last year the motion was discussing, the original agenda item was discuss and consider for approval making permanent the current trial period of City Hall hours for 8 to 4:30, 8 to 12. Then the motion was made by Delaney, seconded by Bemke, to extend the current trial period of City Hall hours of Monday through Thursday, 8 to so on and so forth, through September 19th, 2024. So I just thought now might be a good time to get us talking if we want to extend it to the end of the year, extend it through 2025, get rid of it altogether.
So we're talking about extending the trial period till December 31st, 2025.
Yeah, because the conversation last year, I think you liked go ahead.
Okay, so I like the idea of this. I don't like our approach really of, and this is just in general, of how the government will make a change and then they wait for the feedback from the community, you know, about complaints and stuff. And then I do think a lot of times government overreacts to a lot of complaints that the residents have because a lot of people have crazy complaints sometimes. So, what I wanted to hear more from is the employees and how that worked in the department heads to see if this was something that was beneficial to them and if it was something that, or if it was a hindrance in getting work done. And I haven't heard anything from any employees or anybody at all. So that's my take on it. Would like to get more information if this is something that's good or bad.
Mhm.
Find out, I have heard from some residents about the accountability aspect of this, and we can, I would just like more information personally.
I think the purpose of a trial is to find out if it works.
Exactly.
And so far, we don't really think, I agree, I don't know where this thing is at. I don't, you know, I'm not sure why we did it in the first place, except there was a desire by people, but I'd like to know if it's helping, or if it's making it more productive. I'd like to find out if there's ways I don't know how we can track it. And
Yeah.
I can, if you want feedback, that's why I'm glad we brought this up ahead of time. I can definitely get feedback from department heads and the employees, good, bad, or indifferent, and bring it to the next HR meeting, which will be in August, which would still give us time for September. The original intent where this came from, Mayor Blazer talked about how dead City Hall is after basically 12 o'clock on a Friday. He's like, it's just, why are we here? So we did what we did. And we somewhat took it from the hybrid that the city of Marshfield was doing. They had done it a year, then 2 years prior to when we started it. So we kind of spoke with them. I watched their committee meetings on how they kind of walked through it, went through it. They kept doing just summertime. They would do it from Memorial Day through Labor Day, and then they'd go back to regular hours. And I believe our original intention was, rather than now mixing up hours for citizens, you know, from here to here, we're gonna be Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30, and then during this period, it's 8 to 4:30 Monday through Thursday, and 8 to noon on Friday. So that's a background of just a recap of where all this came from. But that's what the original was, so I'd be glad to go back and talk to the department heads. I'll be with them tomorrow, actually, to get feedback, if that's what
Sounds
you'd
good.
like.
Looks like Justin wants to speak.
Hi, Justin.
Yeah, so, it sounds like we don't have a lot of feedback, whether it's a pro or, a hindrance. What if we continue the trial to the end of the year with the caveat that at the end of the year, department heads and directors provide any feedback if they have an issue to not continue it.
I will say, any feedback I've gotten, Justin, this is Ryan, I don't know if you can hear me or see me good?
Yep,
Okay.
right here, yep.
The feedback I get from the employee group is very positive. They really like it and buy into it. But again,
And
I'm fine looking for, you know, if we want something written, I'd be happy to get the pros and cons, cause I think that's probably, you know, the best thing to do for, to Dean's point, for full disclosure, so not a problem.
Well, I just wanna be clear, I don't wanna discontinue it just cause we haven't heard anything, cause sometimes not hearing any complaints means that it is working.
Thank you.
I would also be, I don't know if we have any record of it or anything, I would also be interested in find out if there's any negative feedback for people not being able to access the city on a Friday afternoon.
That's going to be my question, is,
I'm
as you're
sorry,
in
you
your
have
study,
handed.
you might find out when the busiest hours are, that offices at City Hall get busy, clerk's office,
Mhm.
et cetera. And because if you're, right now, with your cutoff at 4:30, I don't know what the working day is around here. Most people probably work until like 5, they can't get here anyway. And maybe that's a different issue, so maybe on the portal, we can ask that question. People that get in the portal and they can respond and say what they like and don't like and add that to the feedback from the staff. And
We did track, that's a great point and a great question. Before we went to this, we tracked phone calls, prior to this ever becoming to the committee level, just to see if what we felt was true on Friday afternoons. And I think this would be going back 3 or 4 years, and I could go back and chase it down. But the clerk's office kept track of how many people walked in the door from 12 to 4:30. I think the most they had on a Friday afternoon was 3. So in a 4.5-hour period, 3 people came in the door. That was the most, and I think we did it over a 7-week or 2-month. Did it over a 2-month time period. Phone calls, I believe they came into City Hall on a Friday afternoon for all into the phone system, minus PD and minus the fire department, I believe was 7. Now, and that's all departments. So that, but we can definitely do it again.
it would seem like a good idea if you're gonna go with Justin's idea of extending it while we study it, then you collect that information. But like say, as a person who doesn't work in City Hall, you know, I'm retired, so I can come here whenever I want.
Mhm.
But most people don't have that option. Maybe there is a negative impact to the public that we just don't know about.
Yeah.
And it currently runs until when?
Currently it runs till September 19th, 2024.
Okay.
And then another caveat to that, thank you Kevin for bringing that up, is if somebody were to need somebody on a Friday afternoon, somebody called me, they had to turn in a potential application, and they said, but I can't get there till 2 o'clock. I know community development department, HR department, any department, it was made clear, we will make an appointment and make sure somebody is there to get them in, take care of the issue that they had, you know, as long as they called and made that. So it wasn't like, oh, it's 12 o'clock. Sometimes the old adage with that at old banker or credit union, you're walking up and they turn the close sign right as you're going to pull the door, right? We all laugh, we know what that feels like. We made sure that at that point, no, that's not gonna happen. So, but I'm great, I'm appreciative of that feedback.
Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
Well, I'm just, again, it's a good job, well paid, decent benefits. People are working from home, not sure what that means. Now you got half days on Fridays, while everybody else is working. You know, it's tough to keep giving and giving to make it a cushier and cushier job. All with the fear of, well, we wanna keep good employees, but it, you know, like there's a bigger conversation that's gonna come than just saying, another, you know, half a day. It's tricky, especially if society's moving in that direction where we're moving to a 4-10s week instead of a 5-8 week. You know, then I guess we're probably gonna keep track with that, but right now, the society hasn't quite done that yet, but we're moving in that direction, but we're public servants, and we're saying, you guys work, we're gonna go out, we're gonna go home early. So I don't buy into it at this point. I know it's there, and I know we still have people working from home, and I'm not sure what that means. I do believe in technology, and I think sometimes we don't, you know, I'm not sitting in my office upstairs waiting for somebody to call me so I have something to do. You know, I'm definitely, you know, there's enough to do, and you can figure that out, you know. So it is tricky, but it is a bigger conversation, like what direction are we going to? And can people contact us? You know, right now, a lot of people still come in on you know, when they want something from the city, they come to the city hall and they get done what they need done. That may change over time, but right now I'm not 100% bought into that Friday afternoon should just be a given for everybody, especially when society has not made that change over yet. So to have some time to look at that, and as we've already said, let's get some information, not only from the employees, department heads and some employees, we reach out to the community and get some feedback from them. I do realize that's not easy to do right now because we don't have a method for it. Just throwing it out there, we are moving towards a new website that's gonna come into the 21st century so that we can communicate with the residents and businesses much easier than we do now. And that would be a great question to be able to put out then when we have, you know, the following of, my goal is 40,000 people that all live in this area. So right now, how do we even gauge how the residents feel about it when they're busy at work all day and they don't necessarily have time to, you know, come in and tell us how they feel about us not being here half a day on Fridays.
So this is just City Hall employees, correct? It doesn't have anything to do with Public Works or any of the other departments? It's
They
strictly
run,
City Hall?
correct.
Just City Hall.
Yeah. Other departments run different shifts, so like construction crew runs 4-10s Monday through Thursday, nothing on Fridays. That's during this season construction time. Wastewater treatment plant runs 7 to 3 for the most part. So, yeah, but yes, the closure of Fridays at noon is strictly City Hall. No other
Police
buildings.
have a totally different, fire is totally different,
Mhm.
yeah.
I was just making,
No, it's a good
just
point.
making that clear to
Yep,
Yeah.
everybody
absolutely.
anybody that's watching.
Yep.
Go ahead, Mr. Lewis.
Ryan, can I ask this question?
Yeah.
Has there been any exploitation in not just having a half day on Friday, but having a rotation, maybe having some employees having a half day on Friday and maybe some having a half day on Monday? Like Monday morning, would there be any interest in that? For example, I have a group of employees that work 40 hours a week, and they came to me with a proposal that some of them would work 4-10s, some of them would be working Monday through Thursday, and some of them would be working Tuesday through Friday. So guaranteeing that somebody's always in the office. Is that something that's possibly a solution? And then there would be always somebody at City Hall?
That's a great idea, Justin. Yeah, I know of places, just what you're talking about. I think it's worth exploring.
Yeah, cause there's certain offices that need this. Like,
Yep.
there's certain, you know, most of the people don't have residents coming to them, so maybe it's just a matter of saying, you know, we have an agreement of, you know, who's got the Friday afternoon this week,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and the benefit to that, and what kind of sold me on it was, it actually was a benefit to the public because there's somebody there longer. You know, some people sometimes have a hard time getting to City Hall by, 5 PM because they're working themselves. Now if somebody's there later because they're, if they are working 4-10s, the hours actually get extended.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a win-win.
I kinda like that. I would explore that one further too.
Okay, thank
So-
you, Justin.
So Ryan, explain again, I know that you said that it was Mayor Blazer because when this originally came up, it was
Yep.
because the building was dead on Friday. So is that saying that we weren't here anyway? Or what does that mean?
Well, there was no public traffic.
Okay, I see.
No public traffic.
Okay.
And, yeah, a lot of employees, yes, were taking vacation, or if they had flex time, they were saying, I'm just cutting out early. So it was, one day, if I can recall the conversation, I think it was, we had 3 people up on 3rd floor, myself, the mayor, and finance, and it was just like, we should look at, is there a better way to utilize, we're keeping this building lit till 4:30 for what? Again, it was, I'm sure the savings are minuscule probably for 4.5 hours. But that was kind of the reason for the comment.
Do you have the average on what it is during normal days from noon to 4:30, like what the average traffic is?
Not currently, no. I could get that back from
Yeah.
when we were tracking the Fridays.
I think that would be useful too.
Okay.
Just one question. Do the secretaries that work in the police department, they aren't involved with any of this, are they?
Nope.
So if somebody wanted to talk to somebody, would
Just
they have
as
to come
normal.
in and use that phone then?
Yep.
and call?
Well, once the door's locked.
Well, you can get in the lobby, not the lobby, but you can get in the
Yep,
entrance.
they can get in
so-
that entrance, that vestibule area, and they pick up that red phone.
Okay, that's,
Yep.
okay, all right.
Yep. Okay, good, thank you.
All right.
We have cameras all over this place, right?
Yep.
And we have a new phone system. Can we check into, somehow automatically being able to count, foot traffic and phone traffic? Can we ask Tyler that?
Yeah, I did foot traffic, the last time, and it was more so me watching video counting foot traffic. The luxury of having multiple monitors.
Yeah.
You're just letting that run, and after a while you're working and you learn to see when, oh, that's a body coming through. Maybe it's been enhanced since then. The phone system, I'm not sure on, and I can definitely check.
I would
since
say
it's
let's,
new.
maybe even just check like if we can track how many times the door opens. I mean,
Yeah.
some of them are gonna be
'Cause
employees
that's on
and
that
stuff,
clicker,
but,
yeah.
So we maybe do that and see if we can't monitor phone traffic just automatically.
Yeah. Yep. Great.
All week long, like
Yep.
continuous, okay.
Monday through, Monday through Friday. Yep.
Ryan, how much time do you wanna take on this study? I mean, a decision would have to be made somewhere before September, one way or the other. You
Yeah,
know,
and-
about
and-
extending it or?
Sure, unless you were gonna go with Justin's, I
Right,
think he made a
right,
suggestion
yeah.
through the end of the year. We could run it through end of October then. I don't know how big of a snapshot in time you want. I guess that's up to the committee if you want. Before the September meeting, I would say that's probably not time enough to get a clear picture.
Mhm.
Cause I think you also wanna look at seasonal modes too. Because patterns are gonna change once summers and vacations are done. After Labor Day, you might see an uptick in traffic of individuals trying to get in after 4:30. Because right now, the way we were gauging it back then with the lack of traffic 3 years ago, everybody's leaving town Thursday night or Friday morning, or they're not making a special trip in on a Friday afternoon at 4:30 to come see us for something. It's their weekend. So that was the reasoning back then. So I don't know how, that'd be up to the committee. How long of a snapshot in time do you want?
Well, how are we gonna measure the foot traffic if we are closed on Friday though?
You would just track, we'd only be able to track the foot traffic till noon, and basically your best time slot would be 11 to 12 p.m.
I see what Justin's saying, like, if we're closed now and we've already kind of established that, then we don't know.
There are cameras that do show how many would come to the door and pull on the door. So we could track that, Justin. Were you able to hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay, that was some great discussion. Do we have
Yeah.
Any more comments or any questions or anything before we put this one to bed for currently?
Well, it sounds like we kinda want more information.
Correct.
And instead of, bringing this up again in September, would it be appropriate to make a motion to continue the trial to the end of the year, and then by the end of the year, we'll have the information that we're looking for?
You can make a motion for whatever you like.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we continue the current hours till December 31st and revisit it on, in November to determine whether it's something that we continue into 2025 or not.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it just for a word discussion. Is there any problems with anybody if this is extended to the end of the year?
Well, you'd have to move the council, but I think Brian can get us the information before, we don't have to wait till the end of the year.
Right, you for sure have a good snapshot by
I think
November.
the plan was to leave it at the 29th, so that's where I would be.
Oh, September?
Yeah, well, the plan was the trial, whether the trial was over, he's asking to extend the trial
Yeah.
till December, right?
Go ahead,
What are your
Mr. Field.
feelings?
I think that's a reasonable thing, if you feel like, we're not hurting anyone, because he's right, seasonal differences will make a difference, and if we're just doing it for another couple of months, so that we can get the stats, it would help.
Sure.
And the stats we're looking for more than anything is probably resident input. I don't think there's anybody here that's gonna say, no, I really hate leaving it on Fridays. So I think we're good, with that information, so. I think we just wanna know how the residents feel about it before we decide, so. It's up to you guys, but to extend it to the end of December, I don't think that's a problem. Doesn't change anything for anybody. Just gives us some time to collect the resident info.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table to extend the trial period until December 31st of 2024 and review this in the November Human Resources Committee meeting.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, no, but Justin, you wanted to go till the end of the year, didn't you, your motion?
But to the end of the year, but we'd make a decision whether we continue it or not in December, or after December in the November meeting.
Alright, vote on it again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So it wouldn't end until December, but you'd vote to do away with it November for January 1st.
Right.
That's what we're,
We'll
yeah.
keep it.
Cause you're gonna have, if there are changes, you're gonna have to redo flyers, postings,
Yeah, I know.
websites, and the change, cause we had to do that the last time, so you gotta put padding in there for notifications.
Makes sense.
I think it's reasonable. I'm gonna second the motion. So any more comments or
No.
any more discussion on this, I'm going to send this to vote. All in favor, please respond in the affirmative.
Aye.
Yes, that is 3 yeses, none in the negative. Moving on to the fourth item, which is adjournment. I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
You do that?
Just need a second.
I am looking for a second.
Second.
All right, second by Mr. Pluis.
Wait till Friday.
All those in favor of adjournment, respond in the positive.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes, that's 3 yeses. Have a great evening, everyone.